people in books, which is weird because the old diagnostic criteria with autism was they said that autistic people couldn't possibly enjoy novels because we don't have the capacity to put ourselves in other people's shoes, whereas tons of autistic girls, tons of autistic people love reading, and it's a really safe place to learn about people. My mum sent down a box of photos while I was writing the book. And there was just one photo after another of me at all these different social events reading books. And my parents said I used to read multiple books at once and have them all on my bookshelf. So that was a really good way for me to learn about people. But it also meant I was learning about rather than picking up what my peers were doing, I was copying what women in books were doing. But because I grew up reading stuff like Jeanette Winterson and all these lots and lots of books about girls who come from a working class background and go on to uni, that was a really positive influence on me.
Yeah, and why do you think it took so long for you to get a diagnosis?
A lot of people say that their book is a love letter to their hometown. This is my poison pen letter to doctors. I have a really intense dislike of doctors. Because the signs I was autistic was so staggeringly obvious from early on. And I even told, because I got put in a CAMS unit, a children and adolescent mental health unit when I was 16. Jeez. And I remember saying to my psychiatrist, they diagnosed me with OCD, and I said to my psychiatrist, I've read about this thing called Asperger's, which is what they used to call it. I think I've got that. And he said, you can't have that because you're making eye contact with me and you say you've got a boyfriend. Well, yeah, it's really easy to get a boyfriend if you're a girl. That doesn't mean you're not autistic.
Can you be my girlfriend?
The place that eventually diagnosed me, through this amazing place called the Lorna Wing Centre, and they specialise in diagnosing adult women, they were like, we get told this all the time. We're constantly told women aren't diagnosed because they've had partners, boyfriends or girlfriends. I did this podcast during lockdown called Wheel of Misfortune. It was a really silly podcast with me and my mate telling stories about like pooing ourselves and just stupid stuff. And one of the weirdest things was we found that a lot of our audience were doctors. We would get like surgeons writing in saying, oh, we listened to your podcast while we're doing surgery. And I thought, if I can write a book that doctors read when they're off duty, they're not going to want to read it now because I said I didn't like doctors, right? But I thought if I can write a book that is entertaining and teaches you about autism